Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome back to our series on the Havamal. This week we are looking at verse 125, and we will begin with the Olive Gray translation, which reads, I counsel thee, stray singer, accept my counsels. They will be thy boon if thou obeyst them. They will work thy wheel if thou winst them. Be not a shoemaker, nor yet a shaft maker, save for thyself alone. Let the shoe be mishappen, or crooked the shaft, and a curse on thy head will be called. The next translation is from Vikinger.org, which reads, Be not a shoemaker nor a shaft maker, unless for thyself it be. For if a shoe if ill made, or a shaft if crooked, will call down evil on thee. And then the final translation from Bellows, Be not a cobbler nor a carver of shafts, except it be for yourself. If a shoe fit ill or a shaft be crooked, the maker gets curses and kicks. Not just curses, mind you, but kicks as well. Got that one. And so let's talk about jobs and doing it yourself. When it comes to jobs that you particularly have persnickety standards for, the most sensible thing is to tackle it yourself rather than driving someone else completely batty. You can save their sanity and yours by directly doing the job and making sure that it turns out how you want. Sometimes only you have the necessary care to put into it. If a project is really near and dear to your heart, of course, you're going to be more invested in it turning out a particular way than someone who's a bit more removed from it, even if they are a very competent professional. So just something to bear in mind. And then when it comes to doing jobs for others, be sure to guard your reputation. People are much more apt to spread criticism than they are praise, and that is particularly relevant in professional settings. Scathing reviews over a particularly sufficient product or service because the customer or the client had higher standards or so they say, that can end you. It can absolutely end you. It's been very damaging to many businesses that, if a reasonable person looked at what they did, there was nothing really wrong with it. They delivered, they did exactly what they said they were going to, and they did what they were asked to. But, it was, the issue with the customers' expectations. And they're not going to think about it. Well, did this person really do the job that they should have? They're like, this doesn't match perfect world inside my head. And so problems ensue. So if able, don't do business with someone who isn't going to be pleased on basic principle. This requires reading people and realizing, I don't have the best person with that. I once upon a time when I was doing more cake decorating, I did have that experience with one particular client. And the next time they came back, I'm like, oh gosh, it just my schedule, I'm booked. Now, as it happened, I did not have any cakes booked, but I had plenty of other projects booked that were of more importance to me than trying to please someone who was beyond being pleased. Not going to do it. Not going to have that kind of gossip circulating around me. So I think there's room for people on both sides of the coin to really examine their conduct on this matter. Do you expect too much, and are you delivering what you should? And if you are delivering what you should, are you being careful with who you do business with? So let's talk about the joy of creation, because not every skill that we possess is going to be practical to market or to try to trade for. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't create things for our own benefit and pleasure. And taking an idea and bringing it into existence is a source of profound satisfaction. It builds up personal confidence. One of my hobbies is embroidery and knitting. Never going to do it professionally. I could not possibly produce enough in order to sell them in a meaningful way, nor could I command the kind of price that would make all of that time and effort really worthwhile. But I'll tell you one thing, I have some really beautiful kitchen tea towels that, I just absolutely love. I have some really nice Afghans that we use around the house every single day. So I am getting good use and benefit out of that particular skill, even though I'm not engaged to trade for it. And no doubt you could probably think of things, hobbies that you have that you really enjoy, that you're perhaps really good at, that it's just like, yeah, I don't think this is really something the market will bear. And to end up with today, let's talk a little bit about criticism. and keeping criticism in its proper place. Not all criticism is legitimate, and the corollary is that is not all praise is legitimate either. Some things, particularly artistic endeavors, they are extremely subjective. There's no universal standard of evaluation, and personal perspective and preferences. There's just no way to divorce that from the process. Uh, so while your work or your hobbies might be open to criticism, try not to take it too much to heart. If there's something useful that you can glean and that will help you improve, absolutely do take that away from it. Make use of that. But if someone is just being nasty for the sake of it, maybe you should really start considering the source. So that's what I have for you guys on this week's verse. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below and what you got out of it. Or you could email me at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, and I'd be happy to hear from you. But that will do it for now. Come back next week for verse 126, and I'll see you guys then. Bye.